And we're live? Wow.
Hey!
Hey.
Hello!
Hello, hello, hello. So, how's everybody doing? And also let me know how the audio is, because, you know, like always, it's like we're setting this up for the first time. Maybe the music is a little bit loud. Can I change this?
Alright, got the Discord announcement posted.
Quick. Mark too quick. Shall we do an Xy?
Yeah, it's on you. I don't use Twitter. Not my thing.
It's not Twitter, right? It's X.
X Twitter.
X Twitter. So, how's everybody in the chat doing? How is everybody in the chat doing? Good. Let's see. It's Friday. We're live. Come and join the fun. Nice. Last week, Mark. Well, last week, like last 1.5 week almost. When it comes down to the Founders campaign.
Yeah, 1 week to go.
Time flies when you're having fun, huh?
I can't seem to get my YouTube chat showing up properly. So,
No?
guess no YouTube chat for me.
Are you not missing anything?
Throwing shade already. Whew!
No, good. Wow, a lot of people already. Nice to see everybody here on this Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
You got any plans this weekend, Mark?
I sure do. I got plans tomorrow to go to Den Haag. So do you, actually. In case
No,
you've forgotten.
I'm going to Rijswijk tomorrow.
What?
Rijswijk. It's not in Den Haag, it's in Rijswijk, Mark.
It's just next door. Close enough.
Amsterdam, Utrecht, it's the same.
The Randstad, somewhere.
The Randstad, yeah. Wow.
Ranzig.
Yeah, I never come to the Randstad. Let me see. Can I pop the chat out? Can I get the chat working though?
I did get it working, so I do see some folks saying hello. Can I get a what's up? What's up?
What's up? I always like to pop out. Here we go. Pop out the chat. That's
channel my inner BitConnect. What's up?
BitConnect. Okay, good. So some familiar faces. I see a Lenny face. Well, sort of Lenny face. That's always good. Can I get a what's up? I got a $300 keyboard from you. Oh, it's going to be the best.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Best keyboard we've ever made. Of course, we haven't made it yet, but details.
Details.
Henry's asking, when's the next update? Now's the next update.
Now it's not. Well, actually, Sander is now editing the next update as we speak. We recorded an update last week, and the quality was kind of subpar. We sort of botched it.
Nice.
And that's when we decided, okay, last week no update, this week another update. It's also in Taiwan. We had some new employees joining there, and Carl had to help them, and get them on the right path. And he recorded something this morning, and Sander's now editing it. So I assume it will go online today, or at least I hope. So that's nice. That's something to look forward to. And if you have any 8HE questions, now is the time to ask them. Bye, Mark. See you on the other side. So Mark has been having issues with his internet. He had it yesterday already, and I assume today as well. So yeah, he's back. Let me he needs to re-enter. Here we go. Hello.
That's
Now did his mic die?
Did my mic die? Hello?
No, it didn't. Good.
All right. It's nothing but a good sign for the stream to come. My network has been troublesome lately. I blame a maculaire.
Yeah. Okay, let's just get the show on the road. Let's go through some topics we have, and then let's go. No, wait. Before we kick off the stream, right after the stream, I'll share a survey on Discord. That survey will help us get to know you better, and you can get sort of give an insight of how you perceive us as a brand and what we're sort of doing. We're looking into some branding and marketing things, you know, and we just want to make sure that what we think that you think of us is in line with what you actually think of us. And we have a little survey. It takes like 5, maybe 7 minutes if you're slow to fill it in. And we'll also raffle away store credit among 2 participants. Everybody who fills in the surveys, that's quite nice. €200 or $US, so it's definitely.
What's that?
Yeah, it's
enough to get yourself an ADHE.
It's enough
almost
to get it's like
excluding shipping.
Yeah, depending on where you live. Well, is it including? Yeah, sure. Okay, sure. Almost an ADHE, which is, I guess, kind of nice.
75.5 then.
But that's not the only thing we're asking. So there will be another form below, and that's not a survey, but that's a form where you can join a focus group when it comes to the utility. So Paula, she's been doing all the UI and UX of the utility recently, and she has some big plans for the utility. And in the past, what we always did, like, yeah, we like A the most or B design the most. And she's like, yeah, you can like the most, but does the user like the most? Mm-hmm. So she wants to get like all professional, and we want to, you know, create some focus groups where she can share early drafts and early concepts with you, and you can give feedback, and that way we can improve the utility over time and make it better. But that's all after the live stream on.
That was one of the things that we heard as feedback from the end of the year live stream, and the exciting controversy that came after that. Of, you know, if we had some focus groups and some people commenting a little bit more on the product before we announced it, then maybe we wouldn't have had that controversy about the arrow keys and the shifting that over. But hey, maybe that was actually just a big brain move that we created this, invented this controversy so that we could come in as the heroes and fix it.
Let's keep that. Didn't give us sleepless nights.
Well, Reddit crying yourself to sleep.
Was so fantastic. So I remember the end of the year live stream. I think it was the 29th. Was the 29th, right? Mm-hmm. And so stream ended. I was like thinking about it. What show you my talk, and then I was laying in bed the whole night thinking like, oh, did we make a mistake? Like, why is everybody so negative about it? And, you know, continuing reading the comments on Reddit and on YouTube, and it was like, oh my God. So I had like barely any sleep that night. And the next day I was still thinking about it. And then that Saturday night, my wife, she went into labor. So no more sleep ever, right?
So you haven't slept since 2023, is that what you're saying?
I haven't slept since 2023.
Gotcha. It explains the bags under your eyes, that's for sure.
That's true. Slept a little bit, not too much.
But now we are several months past that. We've made some changes. We've launched the campaign, and we are 3 weeks into the 4-week campaign. So that has been going very well, exceeded expectations in a lot of ways. And so now we can share some progress updates of so where are exactly we at, and one of the things that we're trying out with this the ADHE launch is all of these different layout options, these different cases, pre-assembled and modules, and a new GIS layouts as well. All of these different options, and so up through now we've been allowing people to purchase any of the different layouts and whatnot that they're looking for, and using that data to kind of inform how many of these particular pre-assembled versions should we be producing. And over the last 3 weeks or so, we've gotten that data. We've rebalanced all of those allocations. We've taken into account people who've canceled their orders or changed their orders, and at this point now, we are confident to say, okay, this is what we expect the ratio of the different layouts to be. And so with that, we've just today placed the purchase order for the first batch of keyboards, and so these are going to get manufactured. It's set in stone now. The funds have been transferred, and they are on their way.
It's not a
what
scam
that does.
anymore.
Well, no, it's not. It never was in the first place.
Oh, okay.
But what that means, though, is that we have now fully set in stone what that first batch is going to look like for the different layouts, and we've been pretty effective at ensuring that the first batch is only for business to customer purchases. So that's people that are buying the keyboards for their own personal use, and anybody who is buying the keyboard for any kind of larger purchase, so business to business purchases, those are all getting pushed into the second batch. But that does mean that that first batch for all the B2C purchases is about 80% sold out across all of the layouts. So if you were wanting a pre-assembled version of some particular kind, and maybe you haven't jumped on the Founders campaign yet, you are running out of time to be part of that first batch. And then with that, it also means that we've gotten a lot of data now about which layouts, versions, configurations are most popular, and which maybe aren't popular. And so I want to make sure that everybody's aware that for the first batch and even for the second batch, we're not going to be changing what is available to purchase. So all of the pre-assembled versions will be available for both the first and the second batch. But come that third batch, we are going to start making decisions on, is this a configuration that we want to continue supporting indefinitely as made to stock as opposed to made to order. So just keep an eye out on that. We're going to give plenty of warning if there's going to be any layout that we decide at a later point, like, hey, maybe the ISO version of the smoky transparent isn't selling as well, for example. That's not to say that it is or isn't, but just to say that if that is the case, then we may decide in the future to not offer that. We do intend for the foreseeable future to offer all of the 3 layout versions, so the ANSI, the ISO, and the GIS, as module options. So in all cases, you'll be able to build the keyboard that you're looking for with whatever kind of case you're aiming to get, but it may not, in a month or 2 from now, be available as a pre-assembled option. So just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that, and that doesn't come as a surprise to anybody.
No. I upgraded the stream, so now we can actually see the live ticker counter of the ATG campaign.
Oh, okay.
Sick, right? Yeah.
Nice. I'll take your word for it.
Good.
I don't have the stream up. I don't have the bandwidth for that, literally and mentally.
Looks if anybody wants to test it out, just purchase something and we'll see if the counter goes up.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And then just double check it, just to make sure and place a second purchase.
Yeah, and better to triple check it. But it's insane if you look at statistics, right? Every morning I wake up, I look at it like, whoa, 5.8 million? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
80,000 people?
It's exciting stuff. So that first batch, as people may have become aware at this point, that first batch is pretty massive, especially since as many pre-orders as we've gotten, and that first batch is only 80% filled up. You can have some kind of context. Now we're not going to share exact numbers, but you can do some math and figure out kind of towards what size of that batch is. And then the second batch is actually going to be twice the size of the first one. So we've got plenty of time for people who want to get their pre-assembled versions in. We expect that will be available for sale for all those different versions, configurations, layouts, etc. for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Sounds nice.
So the next question then is, how is the manufacturing plan going? And we are on track. So that first purchase order got placed today, which means that the factory has the confidence to be able to start sourcing parts and making sure that they've got everything available to put together the PCBs, to set up all the other different parts that they need. So they got to source the stabilizers, they got to get the foam ready, they got to get all the cases prepared. All of those things. So that is now moving along on time and on schedule. That isn't necessarily to say that it will always be on time and on schedule, because things do happen. This is production, and this is production of a new product. So there's all kinds of exciting challenges that we get to cross as we get to them. But we've done this a couple of times now, so I'm pretty confident that anything thrown our way will get resolved in one way or another. And of course, what you can trust out of Wooting is that if something does come up, we'll be the first to let you know and be like, hey, this happened. This is how we're going to fix it. That is usually how we go about things.
And for us, the most important part is to make sure that we deliver on a product that we promised you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. It's nice to keep timelines, but we're not going to achieve that timeline at the expense of product quality. It's product quality first and foremost. You guys are buying an expensive keyboard, there's no doubt about it, and you expect it to last for years. And so we have that expectation as well.
That's true. I saw in the chat an interesting question. Could you explain the Rappy snappy feature that's coming out? And I think during the campaign or we also promised like, hey, during the campaign, we will have a Rappy Snappy demo or beta available for 60HE owners and ARM keyboard owners, and we tried to make it work for AVR people, and I don't know exactly if there's a limitation when it comes to AVR. I'm just saying out of precaution now. The feature is sort of done and working internally. The UI isn't yet, and I don't think we need to have a final UI for a beta, but at least we need to make sure that you can tweak it nice with some sliders instead of typing in random numbers, so to say. Simon was a little bit occupied last week with some other issues. Hopefully we can push it out next week, and otherwise it will be soon after the campaign ends, so it won't be any long now before you can test it out yourself. But essentially what it is, it compares two keys, and the key that is pressed the furthest, that one has priority. So you could say you're gonna compare the A and D key with each other. So imagine a game Counter-Strike or Valorant, right? And as soon as you press let's say you're moving left with your A key, and as soon as you press the D key a little bit further down than your A key, then your D key becomes active and your A key becomes inactive. And that's what Rappy Snappy is. And at the same time, you can sort of choose what the SOCD handling is. And SOCD is a little bit more complex. I think it mostly applies to a fighting game, which key gets priority, get they both priority, is it like last key press and that kind of stuff. And those are some advanced settings you can apply to Rappy Snappy as well. Kind of abstract, but you will have a benefit when it comes to fighting games, when it comes to input speed, when you're comparing keys with each other, and it will give you a boost when it comes to at least give you more control over counter strafing, let's say, a little bit more control there.
Yep, so to answer Tom Warren's question there, we're looking at do you have an ETA for Rappy Snappy beta for the 60HE, so hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of next week, but that's an ambitious timeline, so if not next week, then within the next couple of weeks. It's functional, just need to get the last polishing touches on the UI so that we can make sure that it is easily understood by all who are attempting to use it. And then there has been back and forth on Discord and some other platforms as well, questioning, is this feature something that is bannable in different games? And that is a complicated topic. And the short answer to that is probably not, but that there may be specific games where that is the case, that it is not permitted in competitive play in particular games. So that we're going to make sure that within the UI of when you are using it, that you have a big flashing warning of, hey, be aware of the fact that this could be considered an advanced macro, that some developers of games may interpret this kind of behavior as to be not natural, I guess might be the most effective way to describe that. And it is going to be the responsibility of the user to utilize this in an appropriate way. So we're not trying to cause any controversies. There've been a few games where we've caused some community uproar, some battling back and forth, and that isn't the goal. But just be aware of that. If you're going to use it for a particular game, and OS was one that was mentioned, that maybe based off of how they've currently defined what is a valid key press or series of key presses, that just be careful with it.
I think Street Fighter is another great example. When you want to participate in their official tournaments, they have like very strict rules on how the SOCD handling should be done. Because with a lot of these arcade pads, right, levelers arcade pads, you also have like things where you can push in multiple directions, like left and right at the same time, which you can't do with a fight stick. And Street Fighter has very specific rules how SOCD should be handled, but that's only for, I think, like physical tournaments and not even for digital tournaments. But yeah, it really, when in doubt, always check with the developer or at least the tournament organizer.
Yeah, and then the question by Yuji here is, will Wooting make sure which games will be okay with this feature? No, that is not something that we want to specifically guarantee, because that is an opportunity for us to have a perspective of something that maybe isn't aligned with how the game's developers themselves view something. And so we don't want to speak for them. We want to allow the games to have those conversations within their own communities. And so it really is going to be the responsibility of the user to be aware of the situations that they're using it in and whether or not that is valid for any particular game. So when in doubt, maybe don't use it in a competitive setting, and just let those communities have those conversations. Those developers make those decisions. It's certainly going to be a topic of discussion within various gaming communities. So.
I think it's also pretty difficult to detect in games. Well, maybe if you see like, hey, your D key deactivates and 0.01 millisecond later A key is active. Maybe. Yeah. I think particularly because with the analog values that if you're going to go from one key jumping to another key that is already halfway pressed, you'll be able to see that there isn't a smooth depress and then repress of the other key. It's going to snap from 50% activated from the one key to 50% of the other. And I think that is something that game, right? Because you're only sending like one signal, you're only sending like A or D to the computer, not really like the velocity.
Depends. I think like Trackmania, for example, I think that is one where they would be able to see the usage of this feature within that. And Trackmania has a track record of controversies with Wooting keyboards, so that would be an example of one that maybe within competitive play is not something that you'd want to use. And wait for a daring individual that is willing to take up the mantle of this fight with the developers and see.
Again, sorry for ruining ice physics in Trackmania.
Indeed,
wasn't our intention. But we'll definitely keep an eye on it, and if it's too controversial, right, then we'll maybe change some things around, but. Who knows? For the time being, we're pretty satisfied with the feature, and we don't really consider it cheating or anything. It's just like
as long as it's in our opinions and our mindset is, as long as it's a human that is pressing these keys, then the way that the input values are handled from the human taking these actions, we believe that to be valid. But other developers of games may have different opinions on that, so just.
And Mark also confirms like only humans are allowed to use our keyboards, no AI, robots or anything. So if you're
cats,
AI and you purchase our keyboard, then you're not allowed to use it. Sorry, only humans.
Yes, indeed. So we'll move on then. We've got we've covered quite a bit on the 80HE. We've got some exciting things to talk about with the 60HE as well. We do actually make other keyboards than just the 80HE. In fact, the 60HE is our best-selling keyboard, so it's our pride and joy. We've got some new batches coming in. We've got some fulfillment challenges and some fulfillment successes. We're getting these products in stock. So bit by bit, we're getting to be better able to keep up with the demand that we're seeing, and. Good news for us, it's not the case that demand is going down, and so we're able to keep the same amounts of production and have better supply. But in fact, the demand is going up, but so too are the number of keyboards that we're producing every month. So it's going through the roof. So,
but is it enough?
Is it enough? No, it's not enough. It's never enough. So, well, with ISO layout keyboards, we are in stock. We've been in stock for a couple of weeks now. We will stay in stock for at least a month or 2, 3 months. We've got a pretty good handle on ISO layout stock at this point.
Nobody purchased ISO.
That's not entirely the case.
No.
We've got a growing market in France. So all of your French friends buy our ISO keyboards. We appreciate it.
Bonjour.
But ANSI US layout is a little bit trickier. That is a more in-demand product, that's for sure. We sell a lot more ANSI keyboards than we do ISO keyboards. However, that said, next week, starting Wednesday of next week, we will be in stock in the US. So currently, we are shipping out batch NA Humid, and that is actively going out the door. People are starting to receive their keyboards, or at the very least, receiving their tracking for the shipments. And then starting next week, NA Doll will be shipping out, and that is actually a week earlier than originally planned. So those of you that are part of NA Doll, then you'll have already seen on your Wooting hub that your delivery estimate has been pulled forward by a full week. And then when that does arrive and made ready for shipments in the US, that will be in stock for a couple of weeks, I expect. Probably not forever at this point. We still got some work to do to get to a really safe level of stock that we got a couple of months worth of stock on hand. But at least for a few weeks, we'll be in stock. And then in the EU, it's a little bit up in the air. We're doing some fancy things with getting a split in fulfillment between the EU fulfillment center and our new Hong Kong fulfillment center. And so with that, we're able to better serve some of our customers that are in China, Japan, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. So those are going out of the Hong Kong warehouse. But whether or not that is in stock is it's a little bit trickier. So probably in about 2 weeks, we'll have a moment where we are actively in stock and shipping from stock. But that won't stay that way for very long. So if you're part of the rest of the world and looking for an ANSI US keyboard, it remains valid that the sooner that you purchase, the sooner that it arrives. And then talking about the module as well, we have been in stock on the module in all regions and all layouts for the last couple of months, up until about last week or maybe a week and a half ago that the ANSI US in the EU did go out of stock. Saw a big jump in sales of module units to China in particular. So I guess there's a group of folks who are very interested in that module product now. We're looking to increase the amount of modules that we produce to get that back under control, get it back in stock. But at the moment, those are out of stock, and the next batch I think delivers towards the end of April. So once that does, we'll be able to fulfill those pre-orders. But they are indeed in I guess technically a back order status now for the module. It's a question here from Simon Roger about ISO PBT keycaps for France specifically. That is up on the list. The sales are there to support it, but at this point, it's just a matter of spending the time to make sure that we get some samples made, some samples approved. We'd want to do it in black and white at the same time, and then also making sure that to spend the development effort in getting those products onto the market. So that hasn't been completed yet. We're looking at it. We are also very interested in getting a couple more ISO languages available, at least as ABS keycaps. ISO Italian is high up on the list. I believe that we've already done the design work for getting those made, so we just have to get them sorted and into production. Of course, that sorted into production is going to take a couple of months, so don't expect it overnight. But we are looking to expand the number of ISO layouts that we've got. And if you are an ISO user, one of the few, there's dozens of you, I swear, and you have a language suggestion that you want to see added, ISO Swiss, for example, perhaps, then do drop us a line, either here in the chat here or on Discord. Let us know that this is a language that you're interested in, and we can use that feedback, how many people suggest these particular languages, to inform what other ABS languages can we get.
I want Dutch ISO.
Yeah, if you thought there were only a few ISO purchasers, ISO Dutch, man, that's a language that, I mean, it might as well be Latin. Nobody uses it.
That's true, right? Yeah. I'm seeing interesting questions. Rappy Snappy 6HE. Yes, Rappy Snappy will also come to the 6HE. No worries. ISO gang. Wow. Yeah, and about
there's 4 people that repeated that 12 times. Let's be realistic here.
And about the ISO French keycaps, we're definitely seeing you, but it also takes quite some while to make a good PBT mold, right? It's it's just a matter of trial and error and making the mold and making minor adjustments, and that just takes time. But it's definitely something we are considering.
Yes, indeed. So, continuing on the subject of 60HE, we have heard the roar of people asking the question about an 8 kilohertz version of the 60HE. that is a lot bigger of a question or an ask than people I think realize it. It is not possible to do that via just an over-the-air software update. It needs specific hardware to be able to accomplish that. And the reality is that MCU that would have to do that is physically larger. So to put that on the PCB would require a new PCB design. And so that takes development resources, that takes a lot of back and forth, means that we have to do new testing, means we have to do this, that, and the other. There is no chance of an 8K kilohertz 68G coming anytime soon. Certainly not before the 88G delivers. Maybe it's something that would be interesting in the future, possibly. But yeah, there's something to be said for that. The 68G is our best-selling keyboard, and so we should continue to support and evolve our best-selling product. That makes sense from a business standpoint. But it's just not a super high priority for us at this point in time. So if you're waiting on an 8 kilohertz keyboard and you're hoping for that 68G, you're going to be waiting for a little while.
I would, if you really want an 8 kilohertz keyboard and a 6% form factor, I would just still get the 88G and then just don't use the Afro keys or the arrow keys,
Mm-hmm.
Because it contains everything you would expect from a 6% keyboard, right? Plus the benefit of 8 kilohertz.
Plus some arrow keys that were shifted over.
So,
and Martin has asked here, but hands down, is 8K really a needed thing? And there were some other folks who asked that similar question here earlier. And so the answer to that is, well, it is technically faster. Is that going to make a big difference in your gaming as an individual?
Yes.
Realistically, probably not. But does it mean that you would then not be able to blame your peripherals for if you miss a shot? Well, yeah, that might be the case. But the reality is with all of these, at the level at which Wooting is making improvements to keyboards and to latency and those kinds of things, it's not about making you a better gamer. It's about what is the maximum skill ceiling that you could achieve if you put in the effort to really make a difference about it. But if you look at your gaming performance, because that's really the question that you're asking about your is it better? There's a lot that you can do from how you game to make you a better gamer than any of the peripherals that you use. So if you're into like competitive shooters, for example, where you're positioned in the map and where you are already looking at, that's going to have a much bigger impact than any peripheral will. But if you want the best of the best, if you want the fastest of the fastest, well, that's what Wooting can offer you. So if you're a pro gamer and you are at that level already, then yeah, absolutely make a difference.
I think it does somewhat make a difference, right? Because you have more opportunities for input, I would say. So your keyboard would become more responsive in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And will everybody notice that difference? No, but I think at the highest level, every bit more of performance you can get out of your equipment, whether you need it or not, is beneficial, right, for a pro player. Getting here to a question, is USB 3.1 needed? No, I think only USB 2.0 is needed.
Yes.
But everything higher than 3.0 or 4, whatever, is compatible as well. Yeah. But minimum is 2.0.
Yeah, indeed. I think one of the best ways to describe the difference between 1K and 8K is to compare it perhaps between the difference between gaming with rapid trigger on and without. And maybe that isn't the most accurate kind of description, but it gives you an idea of you could probably feel a difference, but is that difference the difference between life and death in a scenario or not? And in some cases, maybe it will be. In some cases, maybe it isn't. And then it also is different between games. Like, for example, with Valorant and the way that their game works and the accuracy that you have while you're not shooting or while you're not moving versus when you are moving, then that rapid trigger makes a really big difference. But in a different kind of shooter game, maybe that doesn't make as significant of a difference. And the same could be said for rhythm games, that there are some rhythm games where, especially on high refresh rate monitors, where having that frame accuracy, the 8 kilohertz will actually make a perceivable difference in your accuracy. And then some rhythm games, and depending on what the rest of your configurations are set at, that it probably won't make a difference.
Yeah, and another important thing is the reason why we call true 8K polling rate, right? Is because we sync the internal scanning with the polling rate. And we do it with the 6HE already in our other keyboards as well, right? Where we hit that 1K polling rate with the 6HE, consistently when you have Tekken mode turned on. This is something other manufacturers don't really do that well, I would say.
Yep.
So not to be that negative about competitors, I do think you will definitely feel a difference between a 6HE that has like 1K polling and whatever now is 8K in the market. I think the 6HE will probably be still more responsive, faster, and at least hit that 1K mark consistently. And a similar thing will happen with the 8HE, but then we can hit 8 kilohertz consistently. And I think if you really get used to it, maybe your keyboard just feels more responsive in general if you then go back to 1 kilohertz after a while.
Yeah, and I think it's also a valid point to make that that part of the reason why we chose to go with 8K for the new keyboard is because we do see that the market is heading that direction. That there are competitors who are already working on or have released 8K products, and we noticed a concerning trend in that they can do 8K polling but not 8K scanning. And so what is the actual benefit of 8K polling at that point? It's way more negligible than even what we're talking about. And so we had the opportunity to say, all right, if we're going to do this, we see that the market is heading this way, so we probably should do it regardless. We might as well do it right. And if we do it right, if we can share that message and educate people on that there are two different versions of 8K that matter, then that just has a positive impact on the community as a whole.
Anyway, what else is on your list, Mark? Because I see some new stuff.
Indeed. Who cares about all this technical mumbo jumbo? People hear about the new products. That's what they want to know. And so we do have some new products. We've just released a couple of new products for the 60HE. We've got the white and the pink wrist rests, and we've got the white and the pink alames. Those are in stock everywhere in the world, and so you can buy it and get it shipped to you right away. But those are beautiful products. I haven't gotten my hands on them myself, but I know that Erik has, because I finally got some product pictures from him, so we could list them on the storefront.
But I already gave all my stuff away to some co-workers, so there's nothing left on my side.
Shame.
But you can tomorrow you can see them in real life if you come to Klekkicon in.
Nice. I didn't even know that. You're bringing them with you? Or I guess Sander is bringing them with him?
I hope Sander brings them. Sander, write it down.
You listening, Sander? Bring the new products.
No, we'll bring.
Does he even have internet? He said he had internet problems earlier today.
He can watch it back, right? He's the YouTuber.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's old news, right? Those are already released. Those are already on the storefront. So what's coming up new that is not yet on the storefront? And a big thing there is we've got new Take Control keycaps coming. And by coming, I mean that they're on their way. They're on an airplane. They're coming our way quick. We got the navy and the blue, which is what Erik's holding up right now. That's what I got on my keyboard right now. Woo.
Oh, damn, you have them? Where did you get them?
I got Jasmine sent me a pre-production sample from back in January, like right when the module first came out. I begged her for these keycaps so that I could have it with my blue LMAs. I'm gonna show that again because they look so good.
So you have like a weird F key, right? Isn't that F key?
Weird F key?
Probably,
there is something that was not correct with these samples, and I don't know what it was. It doesn't really matter to me. I think they're gorgeous.
Yeah. So what else do we have? We have this. Oh, this one looks familiar. What's this? You already have this one. Why is this new?
Hey, we got new language. We got ISO DE for Take Control keycaps. So the ISO gang that was the dozens of you that were so excited when we were talking about ISO earlier, we got some keycaps just for you. And so with that, we've only got the black and yellow color for that. Our goal with this product launch is to see how much interest is there really in the market. People paying with their wallet, buying these. And so if you want to see more colors in the ISO language, then I suggest you buy the yellow and black ones so that we can see that as data and that we can then say, yeah, it's worth it for us to also work on versions that are the other colors.
Look here, all new colors. We have blue, pink, and black and white.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty nice. Blossom pink.
Black and white ones look really good too. I would have picked up a set of those myself if I wasn't going for the blue.
Yeah. So I still need to make like product pictures. That's why I haven't unpacked them, because as soon as I unpack these, it will be smudged, and then I need to Photoshop even more. So I'm gonna leave them in the packaging. Or maybe we can take a little peek, I guess. Let's
just a little one.
Just a little peek.
Tony's calling me out for my preference for ANSI. Yes, but my preference is based on data, Tony, for how sales rate goes. So, yeah.
That's true.
So while Eric is while Eric's cracking these open, we got a couple other new products to talk about. We got new detachable cables coming. We've got pink and white. We also have blue and purple, I think, is the last color. Is that true? Did we scrap purple? Purple might also be coming. Who knows?
Purple might also be coming. Who knows? Okay, fantastic.
I did see samples of purple that looked really good. And it matches
so.
the purple LMA. So I think that is confirmed and on the way.
Yeah. But what about spring packs?
Yeah, spring packs. Absolutely. We got 6 new spring packs coming. We've got we got L35s, we've got L45s, we've got L60s, we've got L85s, and L100s. So those of you who have very strong fingers that really like to push down on their keys a lot, we got some springs for you. And those of you who don't like to type on their keyboard, but instead just blow on the keys that they want to depress, we've also got L35s. So those will be for you as well.
A little spring pack ASMR. Nice. Yeah. Product picks have been made, Mark, so we can put them on the store online.
Nice. I don't know if they're in the warehouse yet, but they will be soon. They have been manufactured. I do know that much.
Well, it's less impressive. You just see them in the blisters, right? The black and white. So it's not that. I don't know what I expected. At least you get seeds black and whites. That's pretty cool. Oh. Maybe I'll bring a set to CleckyCon tomorrow. Maybe the pink one. That would be, the pink one. I'll bring the pink
to go with the pink LMAs. Yeah. And you could just sit there at the table and putting together a module with the LMAs and the pink keycaps and throw the wrist rest on there, and it'll be like a show and tell event.
That would be nice.
Are there 90 springs in there? I don't actually know how many springs there are.
I'll tell you how many springs there are.
Can you count them?
To the bags.
Okay.
I'll count them. It's 120.
Ah, nice. So that's enough even for a full-size keyboard.
Exactly.
Very good.
Yeah, they come in really cute, nice boxes. Nice for storage. Doesn't focus. Only likes my face.
Can't blame it.
You know, with spring packs, the most work was getting the packaging done. We first wanted to do something differently, and then we went back and forth a few times, and we tried something different and unique, and in the end we just went for a nice packaging style. And we actually stole
like a deck of cards.
We actually stole the whole idea of a deck of playing cards, this packaging, because that just works very nice. The size a little bit smaller, it's different, but it is very nice for what it is. Yeah, very cute.
Yes, indeed. And I can confirm that these springs are not magnetic. We did have that specifically checked by our quality control. They are non-magnetic, so they will work well, as opposed to our very first batch of springs that we made. That was a pack of L45s in that bag packaging that also wasn't the best. So that was a bit of a kerfuffle, but we got that fixed. Yes. I got a question here. When will the Lekker V2s be available for purchase as a product on the store? That's a really good question. I don't actually know the answer to that. I do know that the Lekker V2s, they feel great, they sound great, and they are great. I got my hands on some samples just last week, 2 weeks ago, and they are up there. But when exactly they're going to be for sale, I don't know the answer to that. I would suggest you hold that question for the next stream in 2 weeks, and that perhaps there will be somebody around who does actually know the answer to that.
So at least I know that when it comes to packaging-wise, we made packaging and we're waiting for color samples. I think Jasmine received like first round of color samples, we weren't very happy with everything, so we made some tweaks, and so it will take at least another, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks at least before we have them even in stock here. Yeah, but I have a 60G Plus here with V2s, and been using it for a month or so, 6 weeks, and I quite like it, quite enjoyable. It's quite surprised. So what is the big difference, Mark, between the V2s and the normal Lekker editions? Oh, the Lekker switches. It's like a little improvement. The stem is a little bit more, has less tolerance, so there's less wobble, less room for wobble.
Yeah, there's two significant changes that I think are an improvement. One that is definitely objectively better, and then the other one which is a subjective improvement. The objectively better is that the tolerances for the switch itself are much tighter, which means that if you have your current 60HE and you wiggle around from side to side one of the keys, you can feel that there is some movement on that keycap. And so what the benefit to that is that you can have a very smooth key press all the way down through the duration of the key press. But the downside is that you'll have some key wobble, and that is not desirable for most folks. And so with these new Lekker V2s, we have tighter tolerances so that we can still ensure that we have that buttery smooth Lekker feel, but that we don't have as much key wobble. So that's been pretty important for a lot of folks. We're glad to have an offering here now that is a significant improvement on that front. And then the second improvement is more of a subjective thing, which means it's a little bit more up to opinion, and that is a sound difference. They do sound better, in my opinion. A little bit of a softer sound.
Yeah, but why do they sound softer? Because in the factory, there's like the factory line where all the switches come past. So it used to be like, oh, let's go through a little loop F, and then you go through a loop F, and then a switch a loop. Now there are like 6 factory workers with like hoses where loop sprays out, and like spraying the maximum amount of loop everywhere over the switches. So it's like we ask the factory, what is the maximum amount of loop we can add to the switches?
And then double it.
And then double it. Exactly. Yeah.
Isn't that actually how that went?
That's exactly how it went. So it's like with fire hose, with loop, they're like, yeah, it's fantastic. Everybody slides home by the end of the day. It's fantastic. So what else? What's
factory slip and slide? Ooh, sounds safe.
Yeah. So what's next? We should definitely do like the factory vlogs as well at some point. Again.
Yeah. I talked to Calder about that today, and
really?
nothing has been set in stone on that yet. But there's some exciting plans to make plans on how we might plan for that.
I had some plans with Sandra as well, but we haven't shared with Calder yet. But maybe Sandra did share with Calder at some point, and he shared it with you, and you shared it together. But so I don't think he shared what we shared. But next week we'll share with him what we thought about it.
Nice. Sharing is caring. That's how we like to roll.
Yeah. Hey, Jade's also 2 times the price. What's Jade's, Mark? What is Jade? What is it?
Well, and Edgar said it here. In his opinion, Jades are better. And he didn't say in his opinion, but he just said Jades are better. But that is his opinion. There's a lot of people who agree with that. There's a lot of people who don't agree with that concept. The Jades are a Gatoron switch, and the big difference with that switch is that the bottom housing of the switch is closed. Do I have a switch around here that I can show what that means? I do. Just give me 1 sec.
One. That takes long. So what Mark wants to show is that underneath the Lekker switch, there's a hole in the switch where you can actually see the magnet. And with Jade switches, this hole is closed. Okay, Mark, let's see what Mark has to share. So,
got a regular Lekker switch here, and you can see the magnet moving in and out here. The Jade switch has a plastic cap to that, the bottom pit. So what does that change? That changes 2 things. One, that changes most significantly the sound profile. So it's going to sound very different when you press that key down. And a lot of people believe that is a better sound. Sound is subjective. That's not an objectively better. It is just different. And then what is also different on that is because it has that closed bottom, the travel distance for the switch is a little bit less as well. So that does have an impact on things such as, for example, if you have that Jade switch on your spacebar, that there have been some reports that when you depress the spacebar all the way with the Jades, that the stabilizers on the right and the left side still have some room to go. We are very much so looking into what exactly does that mean from a key press stability standpoint. We've got some plans on how we want to ensure that doesn't cause any issues for any of our users. Yeah, along those lines.
Pussy. Bye, pussy.
Eric, you want to comment on that a little bit of what we got planned? How we might want to approach that?
Well,
you can say no if you don't want to comment on that. That's why I threw it to you.
Yeah, I think we have some solutions to this issue. Okay, so first of all, this like Mike mentioned, with some stabilizer keys, you will have like either they bite themselves stuck, or the keycap can roll loose on one side. It's not always the case, but it does happen when you use Jade switches. We have some ideas on what we can offer together with Jade switches to sort of resolve this issue, but it's just like ideas, and hopefully we'll have an answer within a few weeks, whatever direction we'll choose, and then we can share more.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting what Edgar says here. No issues with the stabs on my 60HE Plus. I assume, since he also said that Jades are better, that he has Jade switches that he's. I'm also assuming that they are using for their keyboard, and that is indeed the case. That some keycaps do experience this, some don't. Some stabilizers do experience this, some don't. There is a solution if your keycap set does experience this, that you can get long pole stabilizers. However, there's a really big asterisk there, because there are two versions of long pole stabilizers that you can get, and one of those has a tolerances issue with our plates, and that it doesn't fit very well. And so you solve one problem and you create another problem. So just be very careful if you have Jades, or if you want to get the Jade switches, if you're looking into that. Swing by our Discord, talk about it in our modding, keyboard modding community there. They are the ones who have experience with it, have experts who have all of these different switches and all of the different stabilizers, and know exactly what they're talking about. I'm mostly just spewing, regurgitating things that they have told me. So go to the source. They are the ones who know the answers.
And so far, the experts have said that the Gateron long pole stabilizer won't have any issue when it comes to tolerances. We haven't validated this internally, so if you want to believe the experts, that's fine. I can't really advise at this point. What I can advise is if you want to, a cheaper quick fix, just add O-rings to your stabilizer. Mm-hmm. That will also solve the issue. But more on that on the Discord.
Yep. And then on the subject of switches, there are a whole lot of new switches coming out that are Hall effect switches that have magnets in them. There are differences between some of these switches here, and I am not personally familiar enough to know all the names to be able to name drop what this, that, or the other is. There's the K's and the S's and the U's and the who knows what all these things are. There's all kinds of spreadsheets going on. But what I do know is that our team is on it, on making sure that our keyboard is compatible with the largest variety of switches possible. That with all the different potential configurations. I know that Simon has been working hard on this. He's got all kinds of different switches on hand, and he's got some people all over the world that are also sourcing switches and helping him out with testing. This is something that we are very focused on, that we can make sure that we can support as many different kinds of switches as we can. But it may not be possible to support all kinds of switches. It just depends a little bit on how they are manufactured and how their interactions are with our Hall effect sensors on our keyboards. So it's a very complicated and in-depth process, but we got some good people on it, and they're going to do their best to first figure out what is the reality, what can we do, and then also to make sure that we can communicate that in an effective way possible. We'd like to make sure that we can provide the resources for the keyboard modding community for people who are becoming new to keyboard modding, because Wooting has traditionally positioned itself as kind of that bridge between gamers and hobbyists, and so that's one of the things that we do want to continue to focus on, is how do we ensure that we cross-pollinate those groups and make sure that everybody has the most accurate and useful information that they can.
Yeah. exactly. And similar as to the case compatibility list, right? At some point we hope to have a Switch compatibility list and just have it done. And even better, sell them ourselves with with the module together with module. Okay. I think we're also reaching an end here to the
I think so
stream.
too.
I do, however, want to plug something here. Job listings. If you... I'm not saying that, hey, you are an HR person, come work for us. If you are, come work for us. But I do think maybe here's like a nice community manager watching, and there's like a job posting on a website somewhere, work at Wooting. You can find it in the menu, so on the footer of the website where you can work for Wooting. I think it's called like wooting.io/careers or something. There is a job posting for a community manager. Just read through it, and if you think like, hey, I can be the Wooting community manager for Wooting, then definitely apply for this role, and maybe we'll have an interview with you.
Yep, we are actively interviewing for that position.
Yes.
We had somebody who was asked to interview for the role. And so we were working out time slots for that. And very last minute, they suggested this afternoon here during the live stream. So we went back and forth a little bit. Do we interview this person live on stream in front of hundreds of people? I was down. I was vetoed that I guess that wouldn't be a good idea or something like that. I don't know. I think it would have been fun to do an interview live on stream. But ultimately, we're going to reschedule that one for next week. We got a couple more interviews scheduled. So looking forward to getting somebody to assist the growth of our community and specifically to assist in the engagement with our community, doing events, making sure that people's feedback is heard from those who are posting in Discord or leaving YouTube comments or posting on our X, I guess it's called now, to make sure that gets communicated up through to the business itself. And then also assisting us, the business, in communicating that all of the information that we want to share back out to customers and community members.
And giving some love to our Reddit community, because I'm sometimes surprised, like, hey, there's like,
we have
I
a Reddit.
think yesterday there was a post as well about Jade Switch, like hundreds of upvotes as well, and then some ATHE stuff, and I'm always surprised. And sometimes somebody with like a very nice epic build of 6HE and it gets like 2 upvotes, and every time when I see a Wooting keyboard online, I upvote it, whether it's like positive or negative. I don't get it.
Don't tweet excrete. Oh god.
So there was a very cute post on Reddit with somebody who made a build, or boyfriend made a build or something, and he or she was allowed to choose the keycaps, and it was like cute cat keycaps. It was fantastic. Yeah, very cute.
So going to be pink case options for the ADHD in the future. I am very much so looking forward to when we get an opportunity to work on some new and exciting case options for the ADHD. We started with these 6 options, and that was let's get a bunch of different options out to people. But there's lots of opportunity for more case options. It's a question of, just like with everything, it's a question of resources, and it's not about money resources. It's about time resources and making sure that we have the correct development on our end to make sure that we make the best possible products, that we get, even something as simple as pink. Well, like, what is pink? What is the color pink? There's so many different ways to answer that question that kind of blows my mind, but I am not a designer, so that is not my alley.
I think we now have a very nice pink.
But it's not pink, is it? It's like sakura or like blossom or something. I don't know. 12 colors is enough for me, and I think that's probably excessive. But that's why I'm not a designer.
As well. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, fantastic. And last and final thing, I think we mentioned a few times already. Tomorrow we will be at Klekkicon in the Netherlands.
Yes. Erik and I'll both be there. Sander will be there. Tony will be there as well. Who's Tim? Was it Tim that's going?
Tim as well. Yeah, we will be with a lot of people there. So
yes, indeed, a whole crowd of Wooting. So come, swing by, hang out. One of our Woot Help, Arden, is going to be there as well. So that's it's going to be an exciting time.
Yeah, and you can get like live support with Mark if you have an issue or the issue, he'll solve it live with you. No worries. Okay. Okay, good stuff. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yep. Have a great weekend. And if you're in the Netherlands, enjoy the gorgeous weather tomorrow. Go outside, touch some grass. It'll be good for you.